What is a fallacy? Can you tell me what a fallacy is? Now, let's see what's going on in Los Angeles, because that relates to all this. Because, oh, wait a minute. You see how crazy this is getting? Oh, you don't support LA being run over? And if you don't support LA becoming Mexico, you're racist. See how they've gotten to this point now?
Protest over in Los Angeles and what the Trump administration is now doing to try to tackle that entire situation. I want to take a look at some of this footage over in that area, some aerial footage courtesy of our partners there at Fox 11 in Los Angeles. Take a look at this. President Trump deploying 2,000 California National Guard troops to LA over the objections of Governor Gavin Newsom after a second day of clashes between hundreds of protesters and federal immigration authorities in riot.
Well, mostly peaceful protesters, though. I see a commie flag and I see 3 Mexico flags. So if you don't support Los Angeles becoming Mexico, you are racist. Also, it has to become communist, too. I don't want to hear these people yapping. I want to see what's going on. Mostly peaceful.
To provide some sort of in the Insurrection Act. That is basically saying that state and local.
Mostly peaceful, unless you got a Honda sedan, unless you got a family sedan. It's mostly peaceful.
Authorities have lost control of the situation, and the only way they can gain control, protect the public, is to declare the Insurrection Act, and he could do that. He has not, but they were providing support, and they have a couple of Coast Guardsmen on board a ship.
Now, I'm not saying that it's not a riot or what, but this looks like the same intersection. And it's the famous LA intersection by that big donut sign, Dale's Donuts, which that area is kind of rough. Last time we were there,
for the Coast Guard,
we were in that area. So is it just one car burning at that intersection? I mean, that's bad enough, but.
And put them on the steps were stood down.
But what's interesting about this is that we were saying, not just me, but Tripoli said it, Mel K said it. Tripoli said it on Rogan, because the question came up, what are we going to see? What's the system going to pull? And we were talking about it months ago, and it was like, a year ago even. There's either going to be war, economic collapse, race riots, another scam, demic. That's about it. Fake flags. That's really the only options. It looks like they went with race riot, right? And this was to provoke Trump to use the National Guard so that then they could justify, oh, look, it's a fascist regime. When the left is 1,000 times more fascist than anybody on the so-called right.
First, and the students came onto campus. So there's a lot of different ways legally this can be done.
Staying on some of the topics that you just mentioned, I do want to put up a post from California Governor Gavin Newsom. I'm going to take it here. So he posted this on X.
Now, keep in mind, California is the test bed for where the rest of the country is intended to go. California is 20 years ahead of the rest of the country. So what you see going on in California is the future. That's what's coming. Eventually, Texas must be Mexico. Eventually, Tennessee must be Mexico, you see. And at the same time as you're supposed to be thinking that it's going to become Mexico, more and more mosques pop up. What do you know? There's mosques in Nashville, from one end to the next. Where do we get all these mosques in Nashville all of a sudden? In the 90s, I never even heard of a mosque in Tennessee. Let's see how many mosques are in Nashville now. By the way, not only mosques, there's giant Hindu temples in Nashville. Yes, you heard me right. Giant Hindu temples. Why the hell are there giant Hindu temples Look at this. Mosques all over Nashville now. Giant mosques. Bellevue, giant mosque. Islamic Center, Murfreesboro. That's outside Nashville. Look at this. All over Nashville. Nashville Islamic International Academy. What the hell? Look at this nonsense. Why are you being a bigot? Islam isn't growing. It's being... Yes, it is. What are you talking about? I don't remember any mosques in the 90s, dude. Now, maybe there was one. I just didn't know about it, but like... Let's see how many actually comes up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 official mosques. A cultural center. What the hell is that? An Islamic center. Another 5 mosques. And another Islamic center. So basically 8 now. From like 1 to 8. 1 mosque to 8 mosques. And this is what the left wants. The left, they think this is great. They think, yes, the Muslims are our BFFs. They're gonna come and replace these evil white Christians, and it's gonna be so much better when we have Islamic society. Well, you're gonna find out how much better it is. Anyway, is it just one intersection, or is this really a riot? I want to see. I want to know.
You're taking a look here at some of those troops that are already down there on the ground in preparation for some of the protests that we may see later on today. Let's talk about what could unfold. I want to bring into the...
They keep bringing on boomer yapping heads. I don't want to hear from boomers. I just want to see what's going on. But we know the mainstream media doesn't want to show it, right? But it's because of ICE raids. Interesting.
Erupts here in LA County. Widespread immigration raids triggering protests from Paramount to downtown. And tonight, an unlawful assembly has been declared as President Trump...
Martial law.
...and National Guard members took...
See, all the flags are... They're flags for another country. They're all like, this is Mexico. They're declaring, this is Mexico, dog. I see a lot of COVID masks, and also they might be masked because of they don't want to be identified.
And other federal agents were apparently staging at or near.
Now, that's funny too, because isn't this where Mexican dudes stand to get hired? I feel like KTLA put that camera up in front of Home Depot to make an inside joke. I mean, maybe not, but I feel like KTLA was making an inside joke here. But why do you want to turn LA into Mexico City? I don't understand. If Mexico City is great and you turn LA into Mexico City, but you came to LA to get away from Mexico, I'm confused why you want to make Los Angeles into Mexico. Of course, we know this is all astroturfed. Sure, this was the Summer of Rage Part 2, right? So we knew the establishment was going to have something, and they got to go with race riots. And they always wait till the summer too. You never have winter race riots. You can only do that in the summer, because that's when you pay the homeless people to come do all this, right?
Local Home Depot Center. Throngs of protesters gathered in the industrial area.
Gay flags. Look at this guy. He's got a gay flag over his mouth.
Gathered in the
Gay flag, or is it a La Raza? Gay La Raza flag. What side of history are you on? Classic Marxist sloganeering.
Industrial area, sparking more clashes between law enforcement and members of the community. Crowds taunted authorities, with some people going so far as to block a U.S. Marshals Service bus, while others hurled rocks and other objects at law enforcement vehicles.
It's so crazy how the left feels like they can do anything. They're justified in doing anything. Right? They're insane moralists because they're like, if you say a bad word, the R word, the N word, right, you deserve to die for a word. But if they throw rocks and bricks at cop cars, I'm justified in anything I do because I'm the oppressed one, and oppression points make me justified in doing any action. It's insane. It's demonic.
According to the LA County Sheriff, federal agents responded with pepper balls, rubber bullets, tear gas, and flashbangs.
In the last several hours, unfortunately, the crowd has...
And what's funny is that the cops are going to almost all be Hispanic. Like, half of the cops in LA are either black dudes or Hispanic. And then they're going to be fighting the Hispanics. It's crazy.
We believe it.
And then they got a Democratic sheriff. Hey, dude, I'm so totally a Democrat, bro. Like, I believe in, like barely, hardly, should LA be like white or whatever, but it should be like largely cholo. So like don't like turn nothing up or nothing. By the way, this is the repeat of the 90s. This is the LA riots of 1992. Remember that? I do. I lived in California when it happened. I didn't live in LA, but
approximately 350, maybe 400, as the crowd has grown.
Luna, I think he's Hispanic. And that dude next to him is definitely Hispanic. So this Hispanic Democrat sheriff is struggling because he doesn't know what to do.
Has become more...
He's like, the Democratic Party stands for this, but also like, I'm supposed to be a sheriff or whatever. I'm supposed to keep the law barely, but like, I don't know, bro. Like, maybe I shouldn't or whatever.
A wooden pallet and then a car went up in flames during the unrest, sending black smoke into the air. The cause of the car fire is unclear.
I feel like this is a premonition of where LA and California are going. Now, we were out there not too long ago, and of course we stayed in the nice areas. So I didn't see, Compton. I didn't go to like Cholo City or whatever. So I don't know how bad it, outside of Calabasas and the rich areas in Santa Barbara, I don't know what it's like. So maybe it's pretty bad, but it didn't look bad. The last two times we were in LA in the last couple of years, it didn't look as bad as I expected. Now, if you go to be on Tripoli's show, it's over in the Hollywood area, and that area is pretty rough. I don't mean Tripoli's, I'm not dissing him. I'm saying just Hollywood, that area is I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it's just like you get these blue cities and they enforce the craziest policies for their insane, crazy, made up ethic, which is no ethic. And it's a cult. And then you wonder why there's giant AstroTurf riots and people going crazy. Now, so the Trump sends in the National Guard and they're all going to say, look, he's a dictator like we said. When we were saying for the last several years that they would do this so that they could have the justification of saying that Trump is, the martial law dictator or whatever, the fascist dictator.
Federal officials say the government is doing its job, enforcing the law, protecting the public, and securing borders.
Yo, the law is racist, Holmes.
This is not justice, but...
Yo, the law is barely racist, Holmes. Except not barely, but totally. But also...
madness. And that hardworking people...
Also, probably we should make LA into Mexico. But also, probably Mexico sucks because I came from Mexico to LA. but also I want to make it into Mexico. Barely.
Are being treated like criminals. You know,
That's because it's a criminal act. If I sneak into China and Xi Jinping arrests me, it's because I committed a criminal action in China. Trying to sneak into China. They ain't gonna let me in. So, did you hear the newscaster? They feel like they're... It's just so crazy that 15 years ago, the Democratic Party was against the open borders because it was hurting the workers in America and their wages. And now the Democratic Party literally says the neoliberal Republican lines of 15, 20, 30 years ago. It's insane. They just flipped the script.
enforcing the law, protecting the public, and securing borders. Opponents say this is not justice, but madness, and that hardworking people are being treated like criminals.
Yeah, that's because it is a crime. Just like I can't go to China. Remember the bill? Let's see if we can find it. Bill Clinton. Let's see if they haven't pulled it from YouTube. Let's see.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country.
Oh, what?
Jobs they hold might otherwise be...
What? And at the time, GOP and libertarians and all the people that wanted NAFTA and all that nonsense, right? Did you hear Bill Clinton? By the way, Obama was saying the same stuff Clinton was saying when Obama was president.
Place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants.
Oh, look at that. The Democratic Party was interested in the workers in America being displaced by foreign workers. And even though Bill Clinton was completely corrupt, at least the pretense of the left at that time was that they had to care about the American workers that they supposedly represented. Look how easy it is to dupe a nation of dummies. I'm talking about the nation of America, full of dummies, who will literally flip their own policies if their cult tells them to. This is so crazy.
Impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify...
Whoa, so racist, dude. Whoa.
...illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws.
Trump literally repeats Bill Clinton's phrases, and they call it fascism. That's so crazy. That's literally what Trump said. Like, he literally repeats the Bill Clinton phrases. We're a nation of immigrants, but we're also a nation of laws. Probably. Right? This is so crazy.
It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Yeah, what about the cholos that come to America legally, bro? Wait a minute. Ain't it a disservice to the legal cholos when you got the illegal cholos, bro? Is that barely even? That's barely even fair, bro. In fact, it's not. But whatever, man. Anyway. Okay, that's enough of that. But it did remind me of... Remember Rodney King? We was Rodney Kings. We was Rodney Kings. Remember that? Dude, this is just the 90s all over again. People said, why did you put LL Cool J on your thumbnail? First of all, because he had Fila Kangol drip in the 80s that looked better than Kevin Smith drip. But number two, because it's also the 90s wherein LL Cool J was popular that are back today. And the LA Riots is just Rodney King Part 2. Remember Rodney King? Rodney King.
Referred to as the Los Angeles Uprising, the LA Riots of 1992 represented a brief hiatus from civility and the rule of law. Welcome to Watch Mojo's Top 5 Facts. In today's...
Now this also, I'm convinced, was some kind of psyop. Now I'm not saying that Mark Furman, remember him? I'm not saying he was like a hero, a good dude. I don't remember. It's the same thing that happened with Mark Furman that happened with Derek Chauvin, right? They were like, Mark Furman was a member of a racist club. Maybe he was, I don't even know. But that's what they were saying on the news. And then, he's part of some Orange County secret society of racists or something like that. And he could be heard saying a racial slur when he beat Rodney King. I don't remember all the details of the Rodney King thing. Maybe he really was unjustly arrested and beat. I don't know. But hasn't Derek Chauvin been vindicated? I'm pretty sure that the court and the autopsies and all that basically vindicated his account of things. And yet we had didn't we have riots after Floyd? I don't recall exactly, but basically. I mean, that was all part of BLM and stuff, right? And it was the same script of 1992. We was Kangs got beat. Therefore, all the minorities should destroy and loot LA. What? But this is a perfect illustration of what I'm saying is that the left, which has no morals, pretends to have a moral superiority, finds a instance to capitalize on, and it allows them to be completely lawless and loot and steal and kill. That's the left. And the right never understands this. They always want to, we gotta be nice and reasonable. They're not nice, reasonable people that you're dealing with. They're evil people. They're immoral degenerates. That's who you're dealing with. You're not dealing with a person who's interested. We should debate the civic rights of nationalists and the laws of the Constitution, like the way libertarians think. Well, if we could just convince everybody of rational civil statesmanship, they don't care about that. You think a cholo cares about, hey, bro, I want to be a statesman, bro. I want to be like Ron Paul, dude. I'm going to go get my degree in constitutional law, bro. Don't nobody care about constitutional law. Don't no cholo gonna get a degree from Harvard in constitutional law, bro. See. They're gonna make it Mexico. While you're over here trying to debate the logic of John Locke and property theory and the social contract. Meanwhile, bricks are flying at your face. What did you hear? That true treatises on government, John Locke explains in the social contract. Another brick hits you in the face.
Installment, we'll be providing you 5 insightful facts about a famous historic event, the LA Riots of April 1992.
We've all seen the pictures of Los Angeles.
No, I know about the Summer of Rage 2020. I'm trying to think, but was that directly after George Floyd? I can't remember. Maybe it was. I just don't remember. I think it was.
Angeles police officers beating a...
Y'all in the audience fact check. Y'all are my living fact checkers. I trust y'all over. Furman was OJ? I thought Mark Furman. Who beat Rodney King? Let's see.
And they had just pulled over.
Like all things race-related in America, this event is complex and multi-layered, and to fully understand it would take a lot more than just a few minutes.
So every time one of these events happens, the left, the network of NGOs and activists, and the mass criminal media blows it up into a thing to browbeat all white people and all people in the country legally here into submitting and kowtowing. That's the whole thing. That is a giant psyop. And they ignore every time crackers and white bread people get beat up and attacked because that's legitimate.